When we were talking about the top story pretty much from last week, the traffic stop that happened week 1 of the NFL season with Miami Dolphins wide receiving star Tyreek Hill pulled over in his McLaren right out front of the stadium. Doing about 20 miles per hour, they guesstimate over the speed limit, which is 40 miles per hour. He's doing almost 60. Didn't want to roll his tinted window down. That caused a little incident with Miami-Dade police officer Danny Torres, a 27-year veteran of the force. I'm sure everybody by now has seen the body camera footage and what had happened there. And a lot of people had many opinions because neither party, I don't think, was completely in the right. And the question was, who was more to blame, Tyreek Hill for the way that he handled himself or the way that some of the police, including especially Danny Torres, did? He was the one, I believe, that had kind of forced Tyreek down onto the curb and also made the comment about his hearing that some people thought was a little unnecessary, as it was kind of taunting in that. And what I had said was, I just need to see, okay, what is this guy's record like? He's been on the force for 27 years. Is he an exemplary cop or does he have some issues? Well, they finally did the digging and we got the answer, Virginia.
Okay, what you got?
Well, they say that he has a history of excessive force complaints, body camera violations, and 6 suspensions.
Oh.
6 suspensions?
Yep.
So he runs a little hot.
You might say that. So when you have that information, it'll be interesting to see what Miami-Dade does with that. Now, they already had that information. Now that it's going to be out in the public, what is the public going to demand about how our police handle themselves? And look, I know it is a very intense job, and there is a lot that goes into it, and I do not envy any officer out there because I think it's one of the toughest jobs, if not the toughest job you can do in our society.
But imagine think about any profession out there where you're suspended 6 different times.
Yeah.
That's an insane amount of suspensions in any career field. I don't care where it's at.
And that's going to be it. As far as the standard, what is the standard? How much is too much? I'd be interested to hear from police officers. Is this considered a lot? I mean, a history of excessive force complaints, body camera violations, and 6 suspensions. Would that be something that is a lot on somebody's record? Because me, somebody who's in the public, that seems excessive to me. Am I wrong?
No.
Here to say I'm a little concerned about that officer being on the force and pulling anybody over?
It does make it look like this guy is a hothead, and we heard it in the video. Yes, we all think Tyreek handled it wrong, but some of us also think the officer handled it wrong. It's okay to say that both did wrong things.
Yeah, absolutely. My point was that the officers have to hold themselves to a higher standard. We just have to. That's just it. You can't be at the same level as a regular, and it's some of you might say it's not fair. I get it. I guess it's just part of life, and I think it's what part of the job demands is that you're going to deal with a lot of knuckleheads, and you can't be at their level. You've got to be at a higher level than that. And if you cannot ascribe yourself to a higher level than the people you pull over, then I'm not sure it's the right trade for you.
To me, if you get suspended from something, that means there was some wrongdoing on your end. Could you imagine you getting fired from this job right now? And I know radio is different than a police, but I'm just saying, and you trying to get another job, and they go, so have you ever been suspended before? Only 6 times. Do you think they're going to hire you?
That would be my question. For anyone who's been in law enforcement for a long time, we're talking 27 years that Officer Danny Torres has been on the force. In 27 years, for a police officer, does that sound like a lot of times to have 6 suspensions and a history of excessive force complaints and body camera violations?
Because you're right. We're ignorant. We don't know. We don't work for the police department. Yeah. But as just a regular person listening, 6 times
sounds like a lot, right?
Seems like a lot.
Seems like a lot.
And his attorney right now is seeking his reinstatement immediately, defending his actions, saying that they were necessary given the way Tyreek Hill handled himself and his lack of cooperation. And it's not to vindicate Tyreek Hill. It's to say he still was a knucklehead in the whole thing. But,
yes.
But when, again, I point directly to where he forced him down on the curb and then used the comment about, 1, using the F-bomb, which I think is unnecessary, and then 2, the comment about your hearing I thought was unnecessary as well. So
If those are the real stats, I'm curious. I'd love someone to explain it to me, because a lot of times I pop off and I'm wrong, but I'm just saying 6 times seems like a lot in any field.
Yeah.
Whether you're playing baseball
Yeah.
or you're a police officer.
absolutely. So there you go. People I know want to bring up Tyreek's background, and yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of things that he's got skeletons in his closet and this and that, but that's just it. When you're a law enforcement officer, you pull over knuckleheads. You know, you're going to have that. They've probably done something to deserve to be pulled over in the first place, but
Yeah.
how you then handle the knucklehead is what's very important in this situation. So it's not to say, yeah, you didn't pull over a saint. I'm not saying that with Tyreek.
And maybe there's a thing where you get suspended for, I don't know, minor infractions. I don't know. I'm asking the question.
I'm just kind of curious. Does that seem like a lot compared to anyone who's been on the force for 27 years, or is that standard what you might expect? Because those kind of things will happen in time.
Does every police officer have 4 to 6 suspensions to their career? Is that just an average?
In 27 years. Yeah, you can let us know. 877-979-WRMF.